What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and where do all fights start? Round one. What's up, fight family? We had an amazing night and morning of boxing. Let's get right into it. We had Dmitry Bivol and the results of that fight. And early this morning in Japan, we had Naoya Inoue's kid brother, Takuma Naoya, and he went against Sulimi uh, uh, Sa Sasumi. Man, these names I gotta get them right, right? They're difficult. They're difficult, but we're working on it, right? So let's talk about and break down these fights, and most importantly, this fight right here that just took place. Um, I gotta admit, I gotta admit, the fight didn't live up all to the hype and the expectation. There was no knockdown or you know. And what's up, Calding? How you doing in the building this morning, this afternoon? So, the fight didn't live up all the way, but it was an interesting fight, and it was a technical fight. Both men really showcase their abilities, but Artur Benavides, seemed to be, you know, a little step behind Demetrius Bivol's movement. And what I saw in the fight was a really competitive fight in the beginning, the first half of the fight. The first few rounds, were kind of like the first round was kind of like a feeling out process. They still they started banging third, fourth round. Arthur Benavides, you can see the damage that was starting to accumulate to Bivol's right side of his face. But and Bivol even addressed that and said that even the knot on the top of his head, that was due in part to his own knuckles smashing against his head from the force and the power that Arthur would hit his glove. And so that's what kind of power he was hitting him with. So as I started watching the fight like break down, you can go back to my live. I had a live stream, and I I was noticing that Demetrius Bivol did a lot of his best work in the middle part of the fight. Like from rounds 3, all the way up to like round 6, right around in there, right? But the fight started slowly slipping away from him. And I think he thought, due in part, that he did a lot of good work in the first half of the fight, that he thought that he felt like he secured the fight, I think. And by the 11th, 12th round, which we're going to start breaking down, I think he started to get a little exhaustion started to set in. And some of those punches were starting to weigh on him, but he had a great poker face. So in between the 6th, 7th round, that's when I think Arthur Benavides, right, was doing some of his best work. And what the judge's impression was that Demetrius Bivol was going backwards. He was typically, by that point in the fight, going backwards. He was mostly on his bike, evading, and he would stop and he would, throw some good counters, and one would slip in. The other two would get partially blocked by Arthur. And then Arthur started going back downstairs to the body in the later rounds. Arthur had veered away from that during the fight and didn't throw any body shots. Like neither man were throwing body shots for a good portion of the fight. Then I think Arthur's team woke him up to the fact, and he started slipping a couple here and there, under the guard to Demetrius Bivol. Demetrius Bivol, though, kudos to him, man. He weathered the storm that is Artur Benavides, and I think that he did a great boxing performance. He showed the world, and he took away his 100% knockout ratio. So that's out the window. They went to the scorecards. So he showed with good footwork, mobility, and boxing skills You can nullify a big puncher's punch. And he did. He did. Now, some people may think that, you know, Demetrius Bivol did enough to win this fight. And there was a part of me thinking the same thing coming into the 10th round. And in my live stream, I was specifying this and I was saying it. What wins fighters, and separates legends and champions from everybody else are the men and women that bite down on the mouthpiece and really go for it in the championship rounds to solidify the fights. There have been many fights that have been lost in the championship rounds. Oscar De La Hoya was beating Felix Trinidad. Oscar De La Hoya ran the last 3 rounds in that fight, and Felix Trinidad pulled off the upset because Felix Trinidad was losing that fight. There's been a lot of fights. Teofimo Lopez won that fight against Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko because of the fact that he stood his ground in the 11th, 12th round. There has been a lot of fights that were close leading into the championship fights, and I had to admit, the last 2 rounds I gave to Artur Benavidez. He won the 12th round hands down. Bivol didn't throw any punches. He barely threw any punches. And he missed everything. Anything he threw, he missed. So the 12th was 100% Arthur's. The 11th, he beat him in the 11th. And that's where I think the fight was decided. Now, one of those scorecards was ridiculous. Yeah, I don't care what that guy says. I'll give him credit for the victory. And it was a razor-thin victory because Demetrius Bivol, there was a lot of those rounds like in the beginning that could have went either way. It could have flip-flopped, and I could have saw. And then there was just clear rounds and a good portion of the fight that I saw Demetrius Bivol just whooping his ass. Demetrius Bivol was outboxing him. When you look at like rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, he was outboxing him. But what happens is those rounds 1, 2, 3, right? And then you got 10, 11, and 12. It was a sneaky victory because you're fresh off of watching the exciting, bulk half of the fight, which was in the middle. And Demetrius Bivol did the better work in those, and like that portion of the fight. So it was like a sneaky victory. Those scorecards were a little different and gave a different picture. Although I think Artur might have legitimately razor-thin won that fight, right? Them scorecards, man, made me feel different. It made me feel like, wait a minute, a Muslim fighter, Muslim guy putting the event together. Look at me, I'm saving boxing. I don't cheat, right? I gave away a car to a fan. Don't look over here, look over here. It made me feel like I was like, had we had that fight somewhere else, all of a sudden you got all the judge. They picking the judges. They got this undisputed belt made up. The Muslim dude, it just didn't sit right. Like it was just too close to have some shit like that be like, you know what I mean? So, and I can't say that definitively, but the scorecards and the judging is what, like, really, like, if the look, one guy had it even, right? Which I could respect that. I was like, I could respect that. But that 116 scorecard, man, I was like, that was a little too off for me. To say Arthur won like that, that was a little, I was like, So they might have had one judge and on it, right? Just saw the full fight between, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into that fight right there too, as well. So, Arthur, I was like, okay. Demetrius Bivol, after, he expressed he would like the rematch. He would like to run it back. And why not? Who else is there for Arthur? Vacating the belts if he wants to. If he vacates those belts, Dmitry Bivol is first in line anyway. And with this mega showdown now that David the Monster Benavidez is putting on with David Morale, you know, that's going to be a big fight. And the winner of that can spice up whoever wins, you know, with these two guys. So there's a lot of interesting scenarios that can play out 100%. There's a lot of different you know, uh, what if David Morale beats David the Monster Benavidez? Have you guys ever thought about that? Have you guys ever thought about that situation? Okay. So, and then now, how many of we thought that there was going to be a rematch between these guys? We knew the possibility was there. Did we see an outcome or a fight like this? Did you really think going into this Artur Benavidez fight, and that there was going to be a decisive winner? That there was going to be that type of fight where there was no controversy, a knockout victory, we're done with the fight? Is that the vision that you had for this fight right here? So how does this all play out, and how does this affect the rest of boxing? We're going to see if the rematch, in fact, could be talked about, because obviously there was no rematch clause put in place if Dmitry Bivol is begging for a rematch. If he's telling him, yo, you should give me the rematch. So if you're asking him for the rematch, if you had a rematch clause put in place, wouldn't you be up there saying, no, definitely we're shooting this back? There's a rematch clause in place. I'm activating it. We're shooting this back. Right? If there was one in place. Rather than him being on stage saying, yo, I think the people want to see this. We should ask the people if the people want to see this fight again. Now he's requesting the fight. So I don't think there was a rematch clause put in place. So, and then Artur said, if the Saudi prince wants to see it again, let's see what happens. If the Saudi prince says no, then what does that mean? No rematch? So it's your career is up in the hands of the Saudi prince? He makes your decisions now? How does this work? See, there's so I don't know how you feel about the fight, but one thing you can't say in this fight is the word robbery. That cannot be used in this scenario right here in this kind of fight. Why? Because if you're admitting that it was a close fight, then how could a close fight be a robbery? A robbery is when a guy was clearly beating this guy and all of a sudden the other guy wins, like O'Shaughnessy Foster. That was a robbery. That is the clear definition of a robbery, and now them two gentlemen are shooting it back. But when you see a close fight, you can't yell robbery. You can yell upset. You can feel like the wrong person won the fight. But robbery? No, that's a stretch. Not in a close fight. O'Shaughnessy Foster, he got robbed. That was a robbery. There's the difference. You see? So, you have Bivol clearly winning. I respect that. Absolutely. Let's see what you say right here. He was. And the later half of the fight, I'm trying to say this, and I said it in my breakdown. He was going backwards. He was the one, he was on his bike, yeah. And then he was clinching a lot. And the referees are going to see these kind of things playing out. Remember, one of the rules, in judging, it's forward aggression. Am I right? First, right? Effective punching. You can land 20 jabs or 20 soft punches in the round. And if I hit you with a big shot and you stagger, I win the round. My punch had more effect on you than your little 20 jabs. So you can see the output of the fighter. He might have an output, but they're not considering them power punches. If Dmitry Bivol was just hitting them, pop, 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 no power, It's not really. And then Arthur hits him with that shot, pow, and the judges hear it, and they determine that a power punch, and he has more power punches in the round. Guess who's winning that round? And he could have, and Bivol could have had more output, but no effectiveness on Arthur. See, so it's a little tricky. You might see a lot of work from Dmitry Bivol, but how effective was his work and the forward aggression? So it gets a little tricky sometimes when these fights are what? Close. Not a robbery, but close. And Arthur was doing some sneaky work. Dmitry Bivol was doing the work where that he was trying to keep it more at a distance, so you saw his work. When they got in the inside, Arthur was slipping these shots in the inside, like, and then all of a sudden you would see Dmitry Bivol's head go like that. And it was so subtle that you might not be like, really, but the judges are. They just saw his neck go like that, bro. Watch when you go back and watch the fight again. You'll start to see the fight slip away from Dmitry Bivol in the later halves. But I'm trying to tell you, I agree. Bro, in the middle part of the fight, he was outboxing Artur Beterbiev. He was outboxing him. The first round, the second round, I gave it to Artur. But the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, I was giving it to Bivol, right? And then all of a sudden, it started breaking like the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And I was like, wait a minute. I was even saying it in my live stream. Before we got into the 10th round, I was in the 10th round and I was saying it. I was like, wait a minute, guys. This is the championship rounds. And then my man Bam Bam was like, championship rounds. And I was like, yo, Bivol's got to close the show. And I don't think he closed it. I think he let that fight slip away from him. For all the good work he was doing in the better portion of the fight, I think he let it slip away from him. I honestly think so. And I'm telling you, it gives you the impression that Bivol was clearly winning this fight because he was he was boxing brilliantly. Brilliantly. But there's a beginning, a middle, and an end sometimes in a fight. You got to make sure you close the show. Sometimes you can be up in the game, but you got to make sure you finish the game. You see what I'm saying? And in this case, I felt that way a little. I really did. I was watching the fight closely and I was saying, man, I said, Bivol got to end, and he didn't. And that's where I think he lost it, man. Bivol didn't close the last 2 rounds strong. Yeah, you see? Yo, he just didn't. He just didn't. And you guys know me. You guys know me. I don't have a horse in the race. Ain't nobody paying me to talk for a better fighter or any of this shit. You guys know me by now. I'm covering and I'm bringing what I think I saw, and I'm asking you guys your opinion, and we could talk about this fight. I'm neither right or wrong here, right? But what I'm telling you is that from what I saw in my boxing experience, I started seeing Dmitry Bivol go backwards, clinching in the last portion of the fight. I started seeing Artur being the more aggressor. I started seeing Dmitry Bivol slowly start to deteriorate. He was hanging in there. I seen Dmitry Bivol stagger in the fight on a couple situations where he was also like manhandling him. And then Dmitry Bivol would start grabbing him, because it was a smart tactic, yes. You don't want Artur to start unloading in the inside. It's where he's going to get his strongest shots at. So it was a smart thing. But as a judge, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? And then the sound of Arthur's punches to the judges, they were probably counting a lot of those shots, power shots. And you could see visibly the damage on Dmitry Bivol's side face. All damage. how much damage did Arthur have? He was a little red here and there. So but Demetrius Bivol, for people saying that he didn't pack a lot of power, he sure the hell hold Arthur back. Why you think Arthur was hesitant from just walking in there? In the first 2, 3 round, with round 3, 4 like that, he started throwing that 1-2 straight down, and he was catching Arthur. Pow, back up. Pow, back up. And Arthur would reset. Why you think he reset? Huh? Because he felt his power. He didn't just walk through Demetrius Bivol's power. No, all night, Demetrius Bivol was like, where you going? In the front door. Pow, here, hold that. Pow, here, hold that. And there was a couple, he hit Arthur flush, like right on a jaw in a couple sequences. Like, boom, right? And he thought that he hurt Arthur. Then Arthur stunned him and ended up hitting him. And then Demetrius Bivol went backwards. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was an interesting fight. For what the fight brought. I thought the fight could have been a little bit more exciting. I thought there could have been a little bit more action in the fight. I would definitely wanted to see a knockdown or a knockout on either side, to really like boost up the fight like that. But I'll take the fight, and I definitely 100% would not mind seeing that fight again, but maybe in a little bit more neutral ground, if you know what I mean. Right? Just in case shit is this close for reasons like this. You see? So, yeah. What has he got to say to me? If fighters run, he loses. Bivol was more getting punched backwards all over the ring. Yeah, I gave you that impression in the late rounds. In the late rounds, yes. But in the middle rounds, Bivol wasn't getting punched around all over the ring. Bivol was slipping punches, counter punching, all kinds of stuff. Hi, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for joining in at Round One Sports Talk. How you doing? And I think he was doing good work. He was really doing good work. He was the first man never to be knocked out by Artur Benavidez, right? He didn't get knocked out. So obviously, Dmitry Bivol is his foe, is his equal. You see, he might beat him the second time go around. I'm not too sure Artur Benavidez wins the fight now, just like that anymore, right? Okay, then. So, guys, we also got a big fight that jumped off this morning in Japan. And I got to tell you, listen, it was a good one. It was a good one. Naoya Inoue's kid brother, Takuma Inoue, he went up and fought against Tsutsumi, and it was a great, great, great fight. There was a couple big fights on that card, as well, and a couple of important moments. And there was a question that I put together that was answered. Saul Canelo Alvarez, in fact, was in Japan with a Naoya. It just wasn't Naoya Inoue. It was his kid brother. See how kind of rumors can get flied around, and all of a sudden Saul is actually on the fight card? No, he was making a guest appearance in Japan to support his fighter that was on the undercard of Takuma Inoue's fight. And Saul Canelo Alvarez was in attendance, because Saul Canelo Alvarez is Eddie Reynosa is the young man's coach that fought on the undercard, and he lost in that fight against a Japanese fighter. And congratulations to him. Saying his name and stuff is like, it gets a little difficult there, but congratulations to the Japanese fighter. I believe they fought at 112 pounds. So now he is the WBC world champion, and he moved up in weight to fight for this vacant belt. And it was a good fight. He had a great performance by the Japanese, and they will also bring home another world title. Congratulations to Japan. And in the fight with Takuma Inoue, boy, was this a slugfest right here. but it goes to show you that Takuma Inoue's opponent came to fight, and boy, did he fight. This young man came in there and he threw a volume of punches I rarely see in a fight. And that's why I love these lower weight divisions for these particular reasons. Because if you have a chance on Top Rank on ESPN Plus, like I woke up, I didn't catch the fight this morning, but it's running 24 hours on Top Rank, right? So I was like, great. I got up, put on the fight, and I just finished watching it just before this live stream. So I was saying to myself, man, this guy is throwing a lot of punches in the first half of the fight. Is he going to be able to sustain it? Boy, did he sustain it. You know, he got a knockdown on Takuma Inoue. I forget what round it was, but I think that was the deciding factor in the fight. I believe that Takuma Inoue, although this guy was throwing a lot of punches, he was making the guy miss a lot. And a lot of those punches were on the gloves of Inoue. He blocked a lot of them punches. He was getting a lot of good work in, and he stung Naoya Inoue a few times. But that slipped out. But Inoue was banging with him, trading. Now that knockdown, saying that the ropes held him up, at what point can you use the ropes if you're stunned? There's been a lot of fighters that fell back on the ropes. I don't really think that referee got that right. I'm not too sure on that knockdown. I'm still iffy on it. And I think that might have been the deciding factor because that gives him a 10-8 round. That's like mandatory. You get that knockdown, you got a 10-8 round. And a 10-8 round is basically 2 rounds. So that might have been the deciding factor in the fight. I mean, I heard the scorecards read off. There was one that was just ridiculous. It was one that was like real far off. The other two were a little bit closer, unanimous decision that I feel like I thought there was more like a split decision, but the knockdown is what probably separated it. I think he was working on a split decision until the knockdown. And then the knockdown really separated the fight. So, even though Japan lost the world title, his competitor was Japanese. So they really didn't lose anything. They just exchanged names. But that world title stood in Japan, the WBA, for 118 pounds. Yeah. So it was a good fight. I think that Takuma Inoue, the one thing that I saw about his technique versus his brothers, he floats more when he throws his power punch. And what I mean by that is he has this bounce where he bounces and he's like that far off the ground. He's like floating a little to get that momentum going forward. He's not planted. He wasn't really planted ever really in the fight, where that he was fighting off the front foot and he was twisting his waist. He doesn't throw shots like that. His brother is his base. He's when he's firing off, he's in good form. His front foot is planted. He's twisting off the back foot and he's snapping punches. He has so much power, in fact, that he just can snap from his shoulder. But typically, to start becoming a better, more effective puncher, I started noticing where his flaw was. His flaw is he's never really set. Like Takuma Inoue is never in the pocket set to boom, like to throw like this. When he stops, he's stopping off of a bounce. When he finally decides to punch, he's typically hopping forward, hopping backward, then setting, then throwing. He's trying to use like momentum. And when he throws his punch forward, he tries to also use momentum. Like he's like trying to like drop his weight, but what he's forgetting to do is to be planted when he's doing it. You can shift your weight forward, but you could still have your front foot planted shift and twist with your foot, your back foot. He's not doing that. He was always like in a leaping position, throwing heavy shots. And when he would settle down on one shot, he would hit him, and homeboy would grab and just start smack, and he would cover right up. He he never really stood his ground. He had like subtle moments that it appeared like Takuma in a way started to settle in, like stand his ground against them. They slugged it out a little bit, and then quickly, either he went back, the other guy went back, and then it was back to like, the other guy just overwhelming him with a barrage of punches. It was typically like that. Naoya Inoue's kid brother he was doing some good work. He had this sneaky uppercut in the first half of the fight. Yo, he snuck it in the inside. He snapped his head back. I was like, ooh, but he just needed more of it. More. I don't think that he thought that his output was going to be this high. I thought that maybe Shingo thought that maybe he would slow down at some point in the fight, like the 10th round. He probably thought that he was going to slow down. And he probably would have slowed him down if Takuma Inoue went to the body more. If he would have snuck more shots down to the body and took some of his air, took some of his legs away from him, well, then I think that he could have slowed him down a little bit, because it seemed like in the 10th, 11th round, Tsutsumi started to like get tired, and I started seeing him, and then all of a sudden he got like a quick burst, a second win. Like his rejuvenating powers were incredible. That guy, the amount of punches, they were like robots, bro. That's unhuman for the amount of punches that kid was through. I would like to see the punch stats for the amount. I want to go back tomorrow or whatever when they release it. I'm definitely going to look that up. I want to see the punch output, how many punches he threw per round, like that. What's up, guys? Yo, what happened to Notre Dame's belt? We ain't getting no winner. We ain't getting no winner. That Notre Dame's belt ain't all that easy to win around here. You know what I mean? It's still vacant. It's up there. It's got no name. You know what I mean? Guys got to come in, but due in part to my late, I think we would have had more people, and I apologize for that one, but we would definitely get this popping. I don't know if you guys are going to be up already for Junto Nakatoni tomorrow, or it's going to be real early this morning too as well. I'll try to get you guys. Matter of fact, um, trying to see if they have anything on the time on that. I know I had seen something earlier and stuff, but I should just type in his name and stuff. But little pressed here. Yeah, this is not gonna happen. But that, yeah. Ain't nobody got the belt yet. But yeah, I want to watch what's another big fight that's gonna be coming up. I think Tim Zoo. Tim Zoo's probably the next one that we'll probably watch. It'll probably be midday, right around 5 o'clock. Depending on where that fight is if it's over there in Australia time during that time, then midnight around their time should be 5, 6 around our time. Japan's a little further out, so the time is really off. When it's like 11 o'clock out there, it's typically like 7 in the morning out here or something like that, or even earlier, like 5:30 or some shit, like that. So it's off. So I wasn't expecting a lot of people to be up for the Takuma Inoue one, but I wanted to be up for that one as well. But I got my daughter's birthday party going on, and her friends are gonna be coming over today, so I got my hands full here, you know. A bunch of screaming kids. Wifey, hurry up and get home. Right? So so no, we got a lot of good fights coming up, and definitely I look forward to finishing off the year and looking forward to 2025, where we're going to get Tank Davis later on in the year. I can't wait to see him back in the ring. There was a lot of talk about the Charlo twin making a return on that card. I I don't believe it. I don't against Demetrius Andre, Boo Boo Demetrius Andre. Why would he take such a dangerous fight? Charlo Twin's been out of the ring so long. That's that. I don't think that fight happens. I don't know. There's something that's telling me I don't think that fight's gonna happen. I I I think they kind of like throwing his name back in the mix. Something's gonna occur. Someone's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna pull out. They end up doing publicity for both fighters. Jermell Charlo can still be training during this time. Um, then they'll spin it. He'll get a lesser foe, get in the ring. I've seen boxing tactics like this before. Yeah, the guy has intentions on coming back. And both you guys are coming off somewhat of a layoff, but you have intentions on getting your fighters in the ring eventually, leading into the fight that you originally initially want. It's a little further out, right? So what do? You cause a fight or put your fighter in rumors to fight on a fight card against another decent fighter, which that fight is never going to materialize, but in during that time your fighter is training. Then when you get the fight that you're going to really want, that one, then you can announce that one, start talking shit about people ducking you the entire time your fighter's name has been in media, his face, his presence. So by the time you build up the fighter that you really want, you guys have already been talking about him. He didn't just get off his couch on that type shit. So I've seen tactics like this before. Um, and the fact that when they try to sell you Jermell Charlo, like, just coming into this fight, right? This card is right around the corner. And I was saying to myself, they were showing him hit the bag. I was like, he don't look like he's in boxing shape. He doesn't even look close to boxing form. How the hell is he getting in the ring? That's why I'm not believing it. That's why I'm not buying it. It's just a certain types of key. Now, if he goes along with this, he needs money. He needs money. That's gonna send me a bad, like, yeah, like, yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't be too sure about that right there. That fight, you know. But yeah, look at everybody was talking about Saul Canelo Alvarez making an appearance in Japan. Naoya Inoue's name was in it, and look what it was. Inoue. Yeah, not the other Inoue. Yeah, he was in Japan. Yeah, he was at the fight. He wasn't on the fight card. So, like, rumors like this fly around, and then all of a sudden, Saul's headlining Naoya Inoue's fighting in Japan, you know? And here we are. Like, what? Like, huh? No, I think he just made an appearance in Japan to support a fighter. And when I saw that, I was like, is that what this is? So, who knows? I don't know. Saul and Naoya Inoue on the same card in Japan. Who's headlining? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Like, I just, come on, guys. I'm like, but as far as the fights, go, you know, um, the fights were good so far. What we got, I think that we got some exciting fights. Not so much where we got the blood we wanted, but it was good. It was good. All 5 belts were on the line. It would have been nice to actually saw Arthur with all 5 belts on him, rather than the Prince getting in the ring and just trying to force him to pick up that undisputed belt that they made. It seemed like all he wanted him holding was the undisputed belt. And they were quickly just taking off all the belts off of him and putting that undisputed belt in his hand. You know, what I would have liked to see would have been all the major sanctioning bodies. And you could see that the Saudi Prince is trying to push their belts out of the way and to advertise what they believe is their belt in the future of boxing. You can see that almost in every world title fight, the Prince is making up his own belts. They had the belt, the undisputed for Usyk and Tyson Fury. They had a belt made there. They had a belt made at the Saul Canelo. And it was just like not at the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. No, the WBC did that themselves. I think Ring Magazine did that. But wait a minute, Ring Magazine is owned by the Saudi Prince, so that's the Saudis' belt. Once again, one of their belts. Yeah, all these I've been noticing. The Saudi Prince is making up all these belts, and he at the end of the fight, he's not allowing the fighters to hold these belts for a long time before his belt is put in their hand. At Terrence Crawford fight, he had that belt made up for Terrence Crawford. Remember? The Ringside Magazine belt. He had a big, thick ass belt. That was from the Saudi Prince. That belt. Terrence Crawford did barely had all 4 of the belts on before they had that belt in his hand. Hmm. Hmm. They trying to do away with our belts. Yes, they are. They're in a war with the boxing organization and boxing. They're each trying to show each other that if you don't work with me, I don't need you. I can make my own. Some type shit like that. This is gonna get ugly. This is gonna get ugly. You can't control boxing. Many people have tried to control boxing throughout the course of the years of boxing. The problem is the Saudi Prince can't control all these small time promoters neither, and they're not going to give up. There's a lot of promotional companies you've never heard of in the Philippines and Japan. They're boxing promoters. They've been in boxing for 25 years. You think they're going to get pushed out of boxing because you want to try to like what? All those small time promoters work with each other. Just like and there's a story that I'm gonna have to break on Monday, right? I'm gonna get on an interview with Subriel Matias and my boy Camachito. So we're gonna be doing the interview on Monday. It's gonna be on I think Facebook, and I'm gonna tune in there with Camachito on Facebook. I'm gonna stream my Facebook account through my restream, and it's gonna connect to my YouTube for my end. So I'm gonna still try to get it up on my YouTube through the same process. So tomorrow I should be interviewing Subriel Matias. Join me while we're on that one. Um I think on the thumbnail has the time. Camachito had set up the time. So when we're gonna do the interview with Subriel, we're gonna ask him a lot of questions. We're gonna also ask him about the promotional rumors and what's going on between him and Matchroom. Is he still signed to Matchroom? Why is he fighting his next fight without Matchroom right now? What is this all saying? What does this all mean for Subriel? And where is Subriel going after this match? And I'm not going to announce it right now, right here, but a little birdie told me they're already negotiating his next fight after this guy right here. and the guy they're negotiating the fight with, it's a good fight. It's a good name. You might just want to tune in on Monday to hear the name. Yes. And it's like legitimately going to be that close to like sign under the pretense that, Subriel is successful and he gets past this guy, because, you can't always look past your opponent. We've learned that in boxing. So Subriel does have to get past this next name, right? He gets past this next name, and that next fight is going to be pretty big. So I'm going to allow us to announce all this important information on Monday morning. I would like you guys to tune in, and we're gonna talk boxing. Why did he leave Panda? You're gonna get all those answers Monday morning. I don't want to keep breaking down some of the things that we're going to talk about Monday morning anyway. I don't want to talk about it right now. I know the answers. I know some of these answers that you guys are looking for, but out of respect for Camachito and Subriel Matias that's going to come on to the show, I'm going to allow them to, we're going to talk about it then. Any questions you want me to ask Subriel, leave them in the comments. Leave them in the comments, and I will say such and such ask this question. People want to know, Subriel. Let me know what you want to know from Subriel right now. Here's your chance. I'm gonna read your comments. If you come onto this video later, comment on the video. Drop it in. So by time I wake up Monday morning and I'm looking back at this particular video right here, I'm gonna read your comments. It's gonna say Carlos wants asked such and such question. Frontline said Bam asked, such and such question. And and we're gonna get to asking them these questions. If we're gonna have them on the show, might as well ask them what you guys, or think. It's important, you fans. We're the fans that support these fighters, aren't we? We pay to see these fights. We buy plane tickets, rent out hotels, make reservations. Aren't we the ones? So if we have a question, shouldn't we be able to ask? And I'm here at Round One Sports Talk to bring your questions to the fighter. That's what I'm here for, guys. You know what I mean? So please let me know. What would you like me to ask him? I got my pad and paper right here. I'm ready. Let me know. I have a list of my own questions, but I'm always willing to hear some great questions. So please don't forget to leave it. What is Camacho Jr.'s channel? Camacho Jr. channel is, you can find him on Facebook at Show One Productions. It's Show Ones, like Show 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 One Productions, like that. Let me look this up right here real quick. You go to my Facebook. I'm gonna look him up. Give me a second. Let me get you that's right. I should have put up his link. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it up. And okay, Edwin, let's wake up here, buddy. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? How am I looking up people here? I do this on my phone and on the computer. It's different. Oh, right here. Gotcha. Yeesh. What the hell is this doing? Show one. No, this is giving me the search for. Okay. Here, let me back out of here and switch it. That's probably what it is. I'm under my different. I'm on the Round One Sports Talk over here. I gotta go to my friends here. Okay, so I'm live here. I see myself on Facebook. I rarely do that. All right. My family. Family. Here he is. Okay, so that's SHOW capital ONE. Chosen One Production. And production is pro, and then duction DUCTIONS. So that's Chosen One Production. That's how you say it. I said it with the one. He had it like that at one time. I think he switched it. So that's Chosen One Production on Facebook, Camachito Rivera, or you Jose Rivera. You could follow him there. And that's where we're gonna have the interview. I'm gonna put the thumbnail actually to this video. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put the thumbnail. As a matter of fact, I can still do that like right now, I guess. Here, let me go in. I can actually do all this right now too. Okay. Let me see. Did I have the thumbnail uploaded? I should have. Oh boy. Oh, the thumbnail. I had to put it onto my phone. Okay. Okay. I can still do this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I just want to put up the thumbnail for you guys. So, because Camachito set up the thumbnail and he has it all. So, more than likely, yeah, that's how. Okay. How does it work on here again? Okay. Yeah. Come on, babe. I'm getting a phone call. All right. I think I would have to adjust it in the studios. All right. All right. I guess not right now. I'm gonna throw it up though. I'm gonna put up because I just realized inside. I just realized that in fact I didn't download the thumbnail to my computer yet. I only have it to my iPhone. So then I'd have to get up, go get my iPhone cord, plug it into the computer, and do the normal basic thing, which I'm gonna eventually do. But to have it processed through here right now, um, what I had to do is take a picture of it, right? Yeah, that was another tactic you could do it. If I had it in a picture or photo, in which in fact I do, it's right here, right? Now, okay, so if I have a picture of it, I would have to wait for this to pop up, for this to end. Damn. Yeah, I would, right? Wouldn't I? Yes, I would. But what could I do? Uh, you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna send the picture, in fact, to Bam. Bam, the thumbnail. I want you to post the thumbnail as a short. Bam's not even in the chat. When he gets in here, I hope he sees this. I'm gonna send it to Bam. Bam's supposed to he can put out my little thing. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I think the production is separated from pro. It's like production, like that. I don't think production is all one word. But with what you got typed there is you should find it. You should be able to find it. Yes. So that's gonna be Monday morning. We're gonna do that video. We're gonna go live. Yeah. So I want you guys to tune in there and catch that video. Absolutely. Um, and we're gonna answer all your questions, hopefully there. And like I said, if you have any questions that you want to hear on the interview, or you want me to ask Subriel anything, you let me know in these comments. Bam, if you can when you get that thumbnail, I mean that, yeah, the thumbnail, just throw it up on a short for me, and get the word spread it so that we can get as many video people watching this video with Subriel to support our guy. Please don't forget to give this video, in fact, a like. If you it'll take a it's nothing out of your day just to smash the like button for me. It really helps the channel grow. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and join us here at Round One Sports Talk, where we talk boxing and you get your latest in boxing news. And as well, we compete for the Notre Dame World Championship here at Round One Sports Talk, which everyone knows I'm going to win. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the only person that can call these fights. Allegedly, if you think you can beat me, show up, pull up, and show the world that you can call the exact round and the fighter to win the fights. We have a ball blast here at Round One Sports Talk. Don't forget to tune in. Bivol won that fight. Hey, Bivol win that fight respectfully. I think that it was a great fight all across the board. You know, I think Bivol let it slip away from him in the last rounds, man. I think Bivol was winning the fight in the majority part of the fight when it was like we were watching him, evade his power, nullify it, counter punch, and Bivol did a lot of amazing work. It was a sneaky victory, a real sneaky victory. Arthur won those first 2, 3 rounds, and then he got like one in between the both part of like from like the fourth to like the eighth, ninth round, Dmitry Bivol was winning. Then all of a sudden at that 10th, 11th, 12th, he let it slip away from him. I saw Oscar De La Hoya lose a fight against Felix Trinidad in similar fashion. Oscar was beating Felix, bro, in that night. Yes, he was. Yes, he did. Oscar De La Hoya outboxed Felix Trinidad in the better part of that fight. Oscar De La Hoya faded in the championship rounds. And listen, if you can agree, you got to admit it. Demetrius Bivol didn't win the 12th, 11th, or 10th. I don't think he did. Yeah, I think he let it slip away. I think he actually did, man. Yeah. So anyway, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. I respect all your decisions, Carlos. Yes, that's the channel right there, like that. Yep, yep. So please tune in tomorrow for that, guys. And I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have been amazing. Pass the word. Don't forget to smash that like button. Love you guys. Love yourself.